Yo, it's like midnight where I'm at. I should be asleep, but I'm not. But yo, I'm up at the God hour, and I wanted to share some real information, basically about what's important to me and what I think everybody should take into consideration and how to improve your lifestyle and get the power and energy, unlimited energy that everybody on the planet has access to, believe it or not. So basically, I was just thinking like how many distractions we got out here, just like, excuse me, in our lives, like with the internet. Regardless of what you're doing on the internet, there's like a million distractions. There's so many things. You could be looking up research, you could be doing homework, you could be doing something serious, working, and like a million other things that just pop up to take your attention away quick, just like that. You know, a lot of TV shows. There's so many freaking things on TV. Netflix, you got all these movies and films coming out, and it's already on it in YouTube. There's always something funny. You got people that make these stupid videos, funny videos and stuff, vines, and even though they don't do vines anymore, you got the little short clips, people doing goofy pranks and celebrity shit, celebrity gossip, sports, and then people binge watching shows and shit on Netflix now. So, people just sit and watch a whole TV season, the whole series, all the episodes of the show and shit. So it's like just so much stuff, and then it's like right here at your fingertips, you know. And so it's like to the point, and then there's so many video games and stuff. And then you got apps, so you can just download the game and have it just like that. So everything is instantaneous, everything's here. And on the good part, I mean, you can get all types of information. You can make money just like that from your home, in your pajamas. There's opportunities, and then there's like the in business you have like the opportunity costs. So it's like, what do I have to give up for this, for the benefit? So like, yeah, with the benefit, the benefits are great, but then what you have to give up is your attention and your focus, and your attention and your focus is where your power lies, right? Your power lies in your focus. So if there's a whole bunch of distractions and stuff out there, it's not really to your benefit, because whatever you focus on, if you focus your mind like a laser, you can accomplish it regardless of how crazy it may seem, regardless of how much is working against you. The power within you is extreme. And, it's incomprehensible, And so, like, it's crazy, though, because there's just so much out there, in the world. Like, whether you live in a big city or a small town, none of that stuff even matters anymore, you know? It's just distractions everywhere, and there's nothing teaching you or promoting, meditation or having quiet time. Even if all you can manage is like 10 to 15 minutes a day, just of quiet time, where you try to quiet your mind, or what, not try, because losers try, where where you quiet your mind and go within and tap into the power that's within you. There's nothing promoting that. There's nothing teaching that, and that's not even like, in the Western world, like where I'm at in the U.S., there's nothing promoting that. It's not even really a part of our lifestyle. Where there's people that's into yoga, namaste and all that stuff, but for the most part, there's nothing promoting going within. And I can see that that dynamic just looking at me, like where I live. Like, I'm in the suburbs of this city called Columbus, Ohio, and where I'm at, we have farms and stuff like that, but it's still like the city's like right there. But there's a monastery like literally like within walking distance of my house, and so like we have Buddhist monks there. And like, if you I'm not sure exactly what country they're from, but if it wouldn't matter whether they're from Nepal or China or something like that. When you go to these Eastern countries, there's still an element there that praises or practices meditation and knows the benefits of going within. And so even though when you go to somewhere like China, you have like giant cities, these mega cities like Beijing and Hong Kong and stuff like that, you know, there's still this element, this ancient element that knows the power of going within. And so in places like India, you know, there's still this part of the culture where there's a mosquito, sorry. There's still this part of the culture that knows the power of going within, knows the power of, you know, quieting the mind, and the power that you have within you to heal yourself, to do anything, right? And so that's how come like all the Western scholars were going to the East, you know, especially like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, to sit at the feet of the monks and all of the spiritual gurus, you know, in the East. They basically went over there to learn, because like you're not going to get it over here. I mean, there are ancient cultures here, you know, the indigenous people of the Americas. They also have these practices too, and they have their own forms of yoga and all this stuff. But I mean, for the most part, like, you know, it's still, it's not even like, you know, a part of everyday culture. I mean, you have literally like Japanese businessmen who you know, extremely busy, live in these giant cities like Tokyo, you know, where everything is robotic and, you know, compartmentalized, and technology here, there, screens playing stuff all the time, you know, like on some Times Square shit where you're walking down the street and it's just boom, bright lights here, there, you know, you got women flashing on the screens, you got, you know, cartoons and all this stuff, bright lights everywhere. You still have businessmen who like put out at least like 30 minutes of the day to meditate. You know, like I'm not saying everybody's doing this, but you still have these people who are like all about the business and that, but they know to like, okay, stop, slow the mind, quiet down, close your eyes, meditate, you know? And so that's something that's like the key component that's missing for a lot of us here, especially in the West, you know? It's the meditation, the going within, the quieting things down, because like everything's all about getting more, getting the newest gadget, the newest iPhone, the newest whatever, Samsung Galaxy or whatever you're into. You know, you know, the newest Guardians of the Galaxy movie just came out, the new Spider-Man, the new whatever. Something's always something's coming out. You gotta see it. You know, the NBA season starting, the NFL season starting. It's always something new. It's always, you know, something being pushed for you. And, you know, it's always something vying for your attention, right? Because that is the most valuable thing you have, your focus, you know, believe it or not. Because wherever you put your focus is where your energy is going to flow, right? And, like, the majority of the people on the earth are dealing with only a fraction, a tiny, minuscule fraction of the energy that you're capable of utilizing in your life. Like if you want to get scientific with it, everything is made out of particles. Our bodies are made out of particles. This table that I'm knocking on right now, made out of particles. The air in front of me, behind me, everything, you know, oxygen, nitrogen, all of these gases and elements, if you go down to an atomic level, carbon and all the metals, even gold, all of this stuff is within your body. Your body's made out of all that, right? Everything is, okay? So you are not, if you look at it from a spiritual level, you're not really inside of your body. You know, you have a consciousness and intelligence, you know, whatever you want to call it, spirit, soul, whatever, that that is animating the body, that is utilizing the body. Like the body is like a spacesuit. So you're using this, and the body is made out of the same elements that everything on the planet is, even the air, you know, the water, everything, plastic, things that are man-made, all this stuff, everything is made out of elements. Other people, everyone is made out of these atoms, right? Including your body. So you have an energy force that comes down through your crown chakra, right? And the amount of energy that comes in there is determined by where your consciousness level is. Okay? So since everybody's working with a limited consciousness level, where most people are just like on an animal level, where not even really thinking they're anything more than just a body. So you're working with an extremely small amount of energy, right? And there's a limited amount of things that you can do in the world. But in reality, you know, you're more than just a body. You have a connection to an oversoul that's connected to everything in existence, and the amount of energy that it could handle is incomprehensible. So you could literally do anything because the body is made out of particles and things that you can control, that you can manipulate to do anything. You can actually, do things that, if I spoke on it, it'll sound crazy. But you have phenomenon and things like telekinesis, telepathy, all these things. If you watch this show on Netflix, Stranger Things, where the little girls like, able to do some of these things with their mind, make things move and objects move and stuff like that. And these things are real, like remote viewing and stuff like that. These things are actually practiced by the government. They actually have people that are paid, working, researching it, and people that are doing it for the government, right? So like this stuff isn't even like made up. I'm not even making any of this stuff up. It's possible. You can do even more than that. Just like the stuff you see Professor X doing, in the X-Men, and Jean Grey, where they have, telekinesis and telepathy, and they can move objects and manipulate things. You know what I'm saying? We all have access to this stuff because everything is made out of the same particles and materials, right? And we can control and manipulate these things, But you can only manipulate it. You can only work it with the mind power, the force that you have within you, So wherever your force, if your focus is all over the place, if you're looking at celebrity gossip, you're thinking about this and that, you're worried about who's the president and what he's gonna do, and the protests over here, and somebody got shot by the cops, and some girl got killed, and there's always something new, right? Somebody's in the freezer, they found a body in there, it's always something. Somebody got shot. So, you know what I'm saying? There's an earthquake. There's a damn forest fires all on the West Coast. There's hurricanes. There's people suffering. There's people doing good. There's all types of shit. And then there's the bullshit. The bullshit is the celebrity gossip. That's like straight bullshit because it doesn't affect you in any kind of way, shape, form, or fashion, right? It doesn't benefit you at all to talk about who's sleeping with who's doing what, who's how much money this NFL player is making, who's on the salary cap, what teams are gonna sign this person and that person. None of that shit matters at all, So like your mind power is like divided up into so many areas and shit. You have no chance of doing anything, or even approaching the power that you actually have, right? This is how most people are living, right? So, this is why I felt like I had to hit on this shit. Because, like, even just by taking out, like, 15 minutes out of the day, seriously, 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, not even 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes, just taking a few minutes out of the day to meditate, to practice, to go within, you can start to change all of that. You can start to tap into the power. And this is why, like, if you, just speaking on the monks again, if you look at some of the things that some of the people who dedicate their lives to going within and tapping into the power themselves are able to do incredible things, People are able to heal themselves. A lot of you may have seen the footage of the one monk who set himself on fire, as a protest. Like, this was over in the East. And he just like sat in a lotus position while his body burned up, and that's like impossible for anyone to do because regardless of how bad you want to kill yourself, your body is alive. Like, your body has its own consciousness as far as like survival. I mean, your body is made out of like literally billions and billions of cells, and these cells each have nucleuses which have, thoughts, like actual thought occurs in these nucleuses. They actually, are intelligent beings, if you want to say that. And so like your body is a universe of itself. And so some of these cells work together and they form organs. You know what I'm saying? So these cells are like actually keeping you alive and working all the time, constantly doing things that you're not even thinking about. Your heart is beating. You have all these blood cells opening and closing, all type capillaries opening and closing, all types of things going on inside your body. So your body's alive. It's not going to sit there and burn while you sit in the lotus position. It's going to get up, try to put the fire out. you know, and the pain would be so excruciating that you can't take it. So how could a person do this? The only way a person could do that is if they remove their consciousness, you know, from the body, hovering above the body or whatever, you know, while the body's burning, and, you know, giving it the command, sit, stay right there, you know, because the super soul, the super consciousness, the oversoul, whatever you want to call it, has the ability to do that, has the command, has the power to do that, you know. And literally, like, you have the power to do that and even greater things. You can heal yourself. You know, there's people who push fire and ice out of their hands, just like the stuff you saw in the video game Street Fighter, throwing fireballs and all that stuff. Like, literally, people can do this. And the thing about right now, this day and time, like, of course, we have all these distractions, but this stuff is not by accident, it's by design. We actually are living in a time where things are going to keep changing more and more rapidly, right? We're living in a new age. Like, the entire solar system, not even just the planet, the entire solar system is entering a new age, or actually started a new age. That's what the whole 2012 shit was about. You know, with 2012, like, it wasn't even about that year. You know, the whole thing was about ancient knowledge and wisdom from ancient societies, such as the Olmecs that were right here in Mesoamerica, okay, which their wisdom and knowledge was later given to the Mayans and then to the Aztecs, okay? So they knew about the galactic calendar. They knew that, hey, this entire solar system takes 25,000 years to go around the Milky Way. And it either passes through the great sun in the middle or it goes like over it. And either way, it gets so many photons and different energies that's shooting up from that sun that's entering the solar system that it causes the entire solar system to enter a new age, right? And it changes the consciousness and reality of everything that's living in that solar system, right? So we've actually entered into a new age. We're already in the new age, okay? And like, that's why you saw like so many agendas that were being put out about 2012, and it was all negativity. You know, you had all the movies about, you know, there was actually a big movie about 2012, just called 2012, just showing everything happening at once. But you had all this fear-mongering stuff being put out on the internet, and like a lot of us were reading that shit, the conspiracies and all that shit, taking it and running with it. You know, all the images of movies, like everything's, you know, most of the stuff didn't even mention 2012, but even now they're still putting out Armageddon shit, Walking Dead, all of that shit, stuff that people love. Is you know, they put all the work into it. The entertaining shit is always about the end of times, you know, the Armageddon, the aftermath, everything falling, everything all messed up, you know. And so like a lot of that stuff is being put out and it's not positive. So it has people focusing on the negative, you know, the bad part of it, the bad side of it, you know. And a lot of people, you know, then go and start looking up stuff and they get stuck on that shit, the conspiracies, you know. And like, you know what I'm saying, it's completely like against what's actually occurring. Like, we're entering into a new dimension, you know. Consciousness is rising amongst the whole planet, the entire planet, and it could be rising even faster, you know, if people weren't getting distracted and on the bullshit. And then the people whose consciousness is rising, if they're able to get over the hump, you know, the stuff that's keeping them down, they can help rise up everyone around them, right? And like, one of the things that a lot of people get distracted with is just the different schools of thought, the different information that's being circulated on the internet. There's a lot of stuff out there that's just put out there just to distract and keep people stuck, you know? All the conspiracies, you know? Like this stuff has a purpose, you know? But if you're like for example, looking at the government conspiracies, you know, 9/11, the government was behind it. Hell yeah, they was behind it. You know what I'm saying? They done a lot of fucked up shit, you know. But if you're like stuck on that and you're like on that shit for like 10, 15 years, just looking at the conspiracies and talking about how they poisoning the water, GMO. Yo, I was sitting on an airplane once, right? I was sitting on the wing, like right on the window, right next to the wing. I'm sitting there flying from Miami to Memphis. I look out, we're up in the air. I see a little hose open up, a little flap, and a little hose came out and started squirting out the fucking chemtrail stuff. You know, literally like this liquid just spraying, going up and down in every direction. And I'm watching it like, whoa, because I already knew about chemtrails. And I'm looking at it like, God damn, man, it's jacked up. So like all that stuff is real. I didn't have to see it to know it's real, but it's real, you know? But like if you're stuck on that, that's all you're looking at is how fucked up it is, man. The water, the food, everything they're doing. You're stuck on that stuff, you know, the assassinations and all these things they're doing, you know. Like, that's not going to raise you up. That's not going to empower you, you know? You know what I'm saying? So that's one way people get trapped. But, you know, if you looking at that and that makes you think outside the box, that makes you look and think like, well, damn, if this is a lie, if they're doing this to me, then maybe the rabbit hole goes deeper. And you go deeper down the rabbit hole and you start to question your own reality. And that leads you to higher consciousness, leads you to your true self, then that's what's up. You know, another thing, like people, you see people online talking about the flat earth shit, you know, and it's like, hey, look, I'm not knocking it, you know, I'm not knocking it, but it's a limited way of looking at things because you may think that you're smart and you're thinking outside the box, but in reality, if you're looking at flat earth and that makes you question reality as a whole, it makes you look and, you know, you start to look deeper and think deeper and maybe even go within and you start to realize that this entire reality is not what you thought it was. This entire universe is a holographic universe. You're not even really inhabiting the body. Your consciousness isn't even really in the body. It's everywhere. And that makes you open your third eye and you start to realize that that was just the tip of the iceberg. You know, it ain't about this being a flat earth with a dome over and all that bullshit. It goes way deeper than that. And if that makes you question reality and start to think deeper and then get connected to your higher self, you know, then I'm all for it. That's what's up. But if you're on that flat earth shit for like 10, 15 years, it's like being in kindergarten all your life. You know, same way with the conspiracies. It's like being stuck at kindergarten. Like, you got to go above that shit. That's only there to help make you look outside the box. You know, but that information is all over the place and it can be distracting, you know, and if you get stuck there, man, you're just stuck and, you know, it doesn't take you anywhere else, you know, so that doesn't like raise you up. It's just like with the conscious community, you know, the quote unquote black people, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's put out, people talking about things like, of course, you know, there's people that's mad about the oppression, you know, people that's RBG. And it's like, if you RBG for like 10, 15 years, you know, I ain't even knocking it because it has its place and everything. But if you're not like, that doesn't cause you to look within, you know, to go deeper, you know what I'm saying? Then it's not really serving you. You know, it doesn't really have any place because niggas have been RBG for a long time and it ain't done shit for the black community. You know what I'm saying? Niggas getting gunned down in the street. And, you know, cops getting off. I mean, it ain't doing shit. You know, same way even with the Moorish nationality, you know, and I'm a Moor, you know, but at the same time, I know I'm even greater than that, you know. I'm like thinking on a spiritual level. But I'm saying like, you know, if you get stuck in any of these schools of thoughts, you know, I'm not excluding anything from that. They all have their place. But if that's where you're stuck at and you're not using the spirituality to go higher, to question even your own humanity, like, hey, I'm not even really human. You know, you're here to serve a purpose. But if you don't get to that level and then start to figure out why you're here, what you're here to do, what your purpose is, you know, where you're going after you leave this realm, you know, stuff like that, then it's not serving its purpose. It's not helping you, you know, it's stagnating you, you know, and a lot of people get caught up in that. And like, you know, that's why I'm just sharing, like, it's really, really important to go within. One of the things, just even with meditating, man, if you just make it a thing to meditate at least 5-7 days a week, if you can, but at least 5 days a week for at least 20 minutes, you know, you can start to shed some of these things, some of these belief systems, because believe it or not, all of that stuff I mentioned, it might as well be a religion. And I'm not even knocking religion, because some people watching this, you know, you go to church or whatever, you believe certain things. But like from where I'm coming from, I'm not really rocking with religion. because I don't feel like I need to go to church to get spiritual. But I'm just saying, like, the different things, even the conspiracies and all that stuff, all these things are like different religions if you're approaching it like that and it's stagnating you, okay? Because, like, you could go to church for 30 years and not even, like, have a real connection to God, you know? And even using that word, like the Most High, whatever you want to call it, Allah, it doesn't even matter. I'm saying, like, for real, like the higher self, the universal mind, right? You could be going to church. You could be a preacher. You could be an imam, you know? You could be whatever, going to a synagogue or whatever. And for your entire life and still never have a connection to the universal mind, okay? Because the only way you can really connect is by going within. Listening to me ain't gonna do it for you. You could read all the books in the world. You could watch all the YouTube videos. A lot of people consider that doing research now. You could do all the research you want, and it's not gonna do anything for you, you know? You have to prove it yourself. You have to know. You have to know who you are. And the only way you can truly know who you are, it's not by looking in the mirror, it's by going within, okay? You have to quiet your mind. You have to open your third eye. You have to go within and connect and feel the power that is actually, you know, connected to you. How you're connected to everything. You have to feel that and know that to know that, hey, the Most High is living on earth through you. Or at least it thinks it is. You know what I'm saying? And so the way to really know that's true is not by listening to me, it's by doing it. One of the things I'm going to share, I'm going to put the link in the description down there. I made a meditation video to help everybody out. It's only about 22 minutes long. It's got this binaural beat that you can listen to with headphones. You can play it out loud, but it's extremely powerful with headphones on, and it can help you get to that level that you need to get at. You know what I'm saying? To start to shed some of these false beliefs that may be keeping you stagnated. But that's like for real, because, like, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's religion or just different beliefs. You know what I'm saying? They're all the same. They keep you stagnant. You know, they don't encourage you to go within. And, you know, that's not where the real power is. The real power is within realizing who you are, knowing who you are, and then beginning to focus your energy and power on whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. You could do anything, you know, and I mean, where we're going as the planet, as a conscious for the entire solar system, like, we're already in a new age. This is where it's going to be at, you know, like pretty soon, you know, everything that we're doing and seeing right now, like 10, 15, 20 years from now, all of this stuff will be unrecognizable, you know, and especially like 50 years from now, everything is going to be completely different. And the stuff that I'm talking about now, it'll be more common knowledge. It'll be like, you know, more accepted, more people will be on it. And this is how it happens. Like, we're all supposed to do our thing and raise up, and by living and being living proof of the Most High living on this planet, you know, you will raise the consciousness of everyone around you, you know, and that's how it's happening. Like, nobody's going to come and do it for us, though. You got to do the work yourself. Like I said, click that link down there, download that meditation MP3, burn it, put it in your car, put it everywhere. Well, don't put it in your car because it's powerful, man. You might wind up falling asleep or something at the wheel. But definitely play it everywhere else. Should even play it at night when you're going to sleep. But you know, it's like I said, it's midnight. I'm about to go ahead and go to sleep. I just had to share that because it's a lot of distractions out here, and I know a lot of people's caught up. And even if you think you're on point, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't mean you can't sharpen your sword. You can't, you know, raise up even higher. That's what we're here for, to, you know, to in many ways is to help each other, you know. And that's just what I wanted to share. So that's it. I'm Sharif. Peace. Yeah, there was one more thing that I wanted to say that I forgot, or I meant need to add, right? Everybody, regardless of your beliefs, religion, whatever, needs to raise the Christ within. You need to make Jesus raise within you. And, like, I know this doesn't sound crazy. I'm not even Christian, even though I was raised that way. Kind of. I'm not, you know, subscribing to any beliefs. But what I'm saying is Christ consciousness. Everybody, eventually, whether you do it here or on another level after you make the transition, you're eventually going to have to raise the Christ consciousness within you. That means Jesus, the Christ, is going to have to rise within you. And the Christ has been throughout history, like several figures. You have several Christ figures. You had Krishna, you know. You have Horus, you know, Heru, okay, Osiris, Horus. That's another Christ. Okay, so you have these Christ figures throughout history because these are all stories, mythological figures. Whether it's a real person or not, it didn't even matter. These are mythological figures to teach you, you know, to symbolically look at that and to see this is how you raise the Christ within. Even just looking at the, story of the Jesus figurehead, you have God, you know, coming to earth as Jesus, okay, his son, you know, the Father and the Son. God becomes man, okay, and then raises from the dead. But you need to look at that as yourself. You need to raise the Christ within. Even Jesus, even if you look at it, the semantics of it. I mean, in French, Jesus is je suis. Je suis means I am, right? Am I right or am I right? So je suis means I am. Jesus means I am. God's name in the Bible is I am. When Moses asked him, you know, who he is when he's talking to the burning bush, the pineal gland, he's like, I am that I am. That's my name, I am. You know, Yahweh actually means I am. All of that stuff translates to I am. Doesn't even matter how you look at it. The tetragrammaton, all of that stuff means I am. So you have to raise the Christ consciousness. The whole Bible, everything, all that stuff is looked at, you know, literally, or looked at like completely wrong. Like the way the creation story is told, God creates the earth, you know, and then he goes to sleep on the seventh day. And when he goes to sleep, he wakes up as Adam. It never said that God woke up in the Bible, you know, coming from that perspective. He just goes to sleep, wakes up as man. So you are supposed to raise the Christ consciousness within, and it doesn't even matter what, you know, what how you're coming at it, you know, whether you're coming from some religion or anti-religion or whatever. You got to raise the Christ within. You got to, you know what I'm saying, get your chakra spinning. You got to get that kundalini awakened, you know, and you got to open that third eye. You got to do that stuff for you, okay? You have to prove that the Christ is risen within, you know, for you spiritually. You need to realize who you really are. All of that stuff that's been told through all the mythological figures and all of the stories that are in the spiritual books, it's all supposed to be about you, you know, and showing you what you can do and how you can do it. So that's really what it's all about. And like I said, check the link for the meditation aid. It's in the description. It's only 22 minutes. Download it, use it, do it, share it, spread it. Everybody needs to do it. It's all about Christ consciousness, cosmic consciousness. That's really it, though. I just had to get that out there. I know it's late. So on that note, I'm out.